This is a first-person shooter where the demons are pop-up ads, your health bar is your sanity, your ammo is your attention span, and the final boss is the algorithm. I built it from scratch, or just like last week, I prompted it. I didn't do really shit. AI agents went and did the coding for me, but did I have the idea to make it? Technically yes, but originally no. We're kind of on this journey. Last week, right, it was slopOS and templeOS, and just kind of going back in history and looking at basically cool coders, kind of where it all started in things and games and code that I find really interesting, and then trying to go out and basically build our own and showcase our own, and then leaving it to you guys. And so this week, did I come up with it new? No, technically I didn't. We're doing this to understand the two guys that did it first back in 1993 in a rented house and on Diet Coke. In the early 90s, a programmer named John Carmack is working at a software subscription company in Louisiana with a designer named John Romero. And Carmack does something the entire PC industry believed was impossible. He makes a PC scroll a game smoothly, like a console. To prove it, he and Tom Hall stayed up all night to rebuild the first level of Super Mario Bros. 3 on PC, pixel for pixel, and leave it on Romero's desk. They offer the tech to Nintendo. Nintendo says no, so they make their own games instead. They call the company ID. Then the engines, Hover Tank, Catacomb 3D, Wolfenstein 3D, where Carmack uses raycasting to put you inside the wall in first person in 1992. And then December 10th, 1993. After a 30-hour straight final push, they upload the first episode of Doom to a university FTP server in Wisconsin. The admin has to kick every other user off the network so ID can even upload it. The upload finishes, and 10,000 people try to download it at once, and the network falls over. Doom didn't invent the shooter. Technically, Wolfenstein came first, and other ID's earlier games before that. It's technically not even a true 3D game. The monsters are flat, there's no looking up, but it did change everything. So much so that they even open sourced it, and today people are still making levels for Doom 30 years later. One of the quotes that I always love from John Carmack is, "The barriers are self-imposed. You just need enough pizza, Diet Coke, a cheap PC, and the will to go through it." Two people understood that machine so completely they could bend it into a new dimension. So, here's my homage. They built Doom to escape into. I built mine about the thing we can't escape. Doomscrolling. Doomscroll. A raycasting engine written in C, same as the original idea, except this hell isn't hell. It's the feed. The demons are pop-up ads, paywalls, push notifications, chatbot widgets, and doomscroll zombies. Your shotgun is called touch grass. Your health is your sanity, and your ammo is your focus. And the final boss, well, that's the algorithm. All you need to do to run it is clone the GitHub repo, do a make run. It's one file, no dependencies, so it should run in seconds, and then you'll be inside the 3D world. I tried to follow Doom as much as I could exactly under the hood. It's the same 320 by 200 resolution. It does the exact same trick where it has a wall of vertical stripes, and I tried to make it as, enjoyable and realistic as Doom as I could. And then you will finally make it to the boss, the algorithm, a giant eye that takes about 20 hits. It doesn't blink, and once you finally destroy it, you'll be able to log off and finish the game. And so, how was this actually built? Well, just like Doom, this is a real engine. It's one C file, and it does exactly three things. Open a window, read the mouse, play the sound. Everything you can see is drawn as one textured vertical script per screen column, with the fisheye corrected out. So the same math that they used back in 1992, but just today. Every texture and every sprite/enemy that you see is generated in code. There are no PNGs, no image files, no anything of that nature. All the music as well is all actually generated in a synth. So again, Tom, why are we doing this? Well, again, like last week's video, I'm kind of going down this rabbit hole, or I guess kind of history route of coding. So I am using these crazy tools that we now have to basically elevate myself and try and elevate my understanding more. And so I'm going back in time to basically figure it all out, figure out how it started. And I've been very fascinated with, the idea, right, that people just were able to figure this out. They were able to sit in a room and drink Diet Coke and eat food and just figure out how to code something like this. And for myself personally, it helps with ideas. It helps spur imagination and creativity. I think looking back in history, it always gives some really cool ideas because history normally repeats itself. Lastly, I do want to say, like I said before, you can go try it out. You can download the GitHub repo. It's open source. If you want to contribute to the project, you're more than welcome to as well. And I just want to give a massive shout out to, just everybody that's been watching the videos, supporting the music, downloading the apps. I think, Overboard has been getting a lot of requests recently. So, I've just been implementing those. And if you have any more, join the Discord server, check it out. Give me some feedback, whatever. But it's been your boy A5Atomic, aka Atomic, and I'll see y'all at the top. Peace.